Yo. So we are. Nope. So yeah, that wasn't the intention, actually, for it to stay up on the channel. Might get a little lag. I don't. Oh, I'm tripping. So, yo, anybody that is currently in the group, go ahead and post this in the Discord, actually, if you wouldn't mind. So, my apologies. I try to do it because I know a lot of people will be mobile, basically. It might be easier for you to watch it from your phone, throw some earbuds in and so forth. And you still be able to get the same tall screen aspect, so that whole 9:16, and tried to make it a little bit more convenient for you. So my apologies for that not working out. I guess that's not really something that was in my control, but what we are going to do is move over here. For that not working out, I guess that's not really something that was in my control, but what we are going to do is we just want to chat. Live chat. There we go. Bang, 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 bang. All right. So, before we go ahead and jump straight into it, quick announcement. So, I asked, a lot of people been hitting me up, people that aren't in the pack whatsoever, like new people that just started following me, people that just started communicating, saying that the content that I've been posting on IG, which more and more and more to come, is being beneficial to them. As far as teaching, that gets far more in depth than I can actually show on IG. So I asked, would you benefit more from me doing more content on YouTube, let alone live sessions, things like that? Like, people who've been in the Alpha Way, and if you're an Alpha Way student, show some love for the most part in the comments here. It's been going great so far. All amazingly positive reviews. People have, which is something I don't ask people to leave reviews. They do that on their own. And so I wanted to take the opportunity, because a lot of people I notice will sit in the back of the classroom. They won't ask for help. They won't ask the teacher, for guidance, and they will suffer in silence. Maybe they feel like a question that they have is stupid. I notice it takes people quite some time to get through a course. I don't know if that's normal. Me, when I pay for a course, it 24 hours, and I might go through it twice, depending on how many hours is in it. And I didn't want to make it too long, so some stuff will get re-recorded, and more clarity to certain things. But by all means, if you ever have any questions, I'll always answer anybody's questions. There's not some sort of paywall to me to be able to do that. So I made the post that I made earlier because I wanted people to understand. I get asked a few times why I do free one-on-ones, and for the most part, it's pretty simple. I realized after getting lucky and just being in the right place at the right time in 2020, that indirectly, if you buy a course from a person, that person is subsequently your mentor. Whether or not you can do a one-on-one or ask them any questions after the fact, you bought into whatever it is that they were trying to teach. Even if they stole it from somebody else, that's just the end all be all. And so for that person's purpose to them supplying you with some form of education is they are supposed to be the stepping stone for you to get to the next level. And so that's no different. Like, I heard Alex Hermazi tell a story about if when you were in school, you went through this process of, learning addition and subtraction as a child. And from that, you moved on to multiplication and division. And then after that, you moved on to algebra. Now, you couldn't have gotten to algebra without addition and subtraction. But just because you got to algebra, it doesn't mean that you go and, crap all over the teacher that taught you that when you were a kid, that, teaches like first graders. Like, that's the whole purpose of them teaching you, was the expectation that you would move on a level above. And so for me, I don't want people left out in the wind. I've paid for courses in 2020. I did all of that early on, but I couldn't ask the person a question. It was no different than me walking into Barnes and Noble, buying a book, and then they leave. I leave. Like, I have no access to some of my favorite authors to ask them what they meant by something. And with trading, I understand how much this means to me. Like, not like trading in general, like the blessing and the door that was opened and all the things that occurred in order for me to fall into Todd Capital's course. Shout out to the homie. He was my elementary teacher. He was the stepping stone that I needed to cut my learning curve from watching YouTube and trying to make sense of a bunch of jumbled information and not know how to start, not know how to buy a call, not know how to buy a put. Addition and subtraction will not get you calculus. No, it won't. But it will get you to the point along the way. And so I understand how it changed my life. And so when you think of mentors, mentees, getting this from this amazing lesson from Alex Hermazi in Story, that if I don't make you, if my course doesn't provide substance enough to make you better, and personally, I don't care. I feel like next to when you come to the icing on the cake, that is the strat, I am the best options instructor, teacher in general. I trade amongst the best traders that I've ever met, and watched and studied the stuff and the guidance that we give people on a daily basis for over and over and over again. I wish I had a me in 2020. And so knowing that, my intention is for you to be better than me. So at this point in time, regardless of how much money I've made or whatever the case may be, my job is to make sure the gap between where you are and, let's say it's level 20, shrinks like dramatically. That's the reason why I do free one-on-ones. That's the reason why I have a Telegram group. Not that I don't want you to be relying upon callouts. They're cool, and it's cool for you to learn from if the person is trading the same methodology, which that's what I'm proud about the strat. So, because it takes away all of that guessing, for the most part, and it gives you structure, it gives you trigger, it gives you reasoning, and so forth. And so let's go ahead and jump straight into these. This is being recorded for the most part. It's not going to stay up on our YouTube. I will cut out once I start the Q&A. This portion will more than likely just end up as like a bonus part in Alpha Way, and Alphapack members will be able to watch it. But like I said, YouTube content will be coming very soon, more than likely this week. Also, I got a really cool thing. So for people who kind of feel like, can I get like an intro level to kind of figure out what's going on? I got something for y'all for nothing. I've been working on it for quite some time, and you don't got to pay for it. But I'll explain that whenever this is all over. Just trying to help people out, because like I said, if I had a me in 2020, I'd probably be up to Chris Johnson level in just trading income. Screw investments. Okay, so if you filled out a form, like I said, this is anonymous. I'm not going to say who you were, what your email or anything like that was. One of the things that, and I've noticed a lot of the same questions. That was kind of the reason for it. So paper, pen, whatever you need. I will get to the point where I will explain more in depth and go through the chat and try to catch up for the most part. If any of, I would say the bros hit me up later or try to hop on, I'll try to see if I can make that possible on the fly as we go. So one of the most important questions I ask in my one-on-ones is just simply, what's the number one thing you want to improve upon the most? Like, you struggled with it and based upon your current experience, if you could fix that thing today, what would it be? And so I like people to be more in depth. And so I hope it has more to do with process. So a lot of the answers that I got back were people wanted to develop a daily routine to analyze trades and only trade the plays that fit their plan. So when I hear like the development of a daily routine, that's fairly simple. When it comes to the routine, there are two things that will help. I talked to Boss Gang VIP about this and I think it's one thing he agrees with. If you find yourself trading things that you have no business trading, and I'm not talking about price as far as the options contract, I mean like you didn't chart the night before. If you're not in a community of individuals and someone that okay, they are fire at what they do for the most part, then you need to be in a community that everyone is speaking the same language. This is what, when we open the doors of Alphapack, set us apart. Sorry, I had to plug in my jump drive. This is what set us apart. This is what made trading with the strat so simple. It was no longer the Tower of Babel. It wasn't a bunch of people running around speaking different languages. It was all individuals speaking the same language. And so as this language has grown and become more ingrained into, let's say, the more seasoned wolves or hunters in the group, when new individuals come along, you're not totally reliant on the head of the house to have to be able to answer very simplistic questions. And so from the moment that you understand methodology, you start to understand that if the homie Adex is like, yo, I seen a fire setup on TGT, it's a 2-2 reversal, trigger at, such and such price, at target on the hour, it's going to be triggering a 2-2 or a 2-1-2 on the 2, and then also be flipping continuity on the day. I know what that means. Majority of the people in the chat will put a wolf head because they know what that means. You didn't need him to write it. He could have just verbally said it. And you know what that means. You knew in your mind, you knew you could, and somebody might simply ask, what price is target? They can gauge in their mind what percentage of that is. Immediately, your rules are telling you, where's the broadening formation? Where is, we know magnitude. What's the broadening formation? You're familiar already with the actionable signal. You can make a decision very quickly if it's for you or if it's not. Now, for me, for the most part, if it's not in the plan, I don't touch it. That's just it's just become habit. And so you become okay with that because you realize what is in your plan works. That's just something that I had to do because I'm very competitive. So for the most part, competitive nature brings about emotion. So if I didn't bring about rules, I was basically bound to have a teeter-totter effect to my trading progress. So one, say it out loud to yourself. Even if you're in a room by yourself, say the reason why you're getting in the trade. And then two, write down the plan every night. Matter of fact, write down, if you're in a group, hopefully the right one, you're going to type and post in the chat. and tell people what you're looking at. Doesn't mean you have to take it, but at least your plan is public. I'm a personal believer in making yourself accountable on purpose. So if you have a goal to lose 30 pounds, go public with it. Tell people. Tell somebody to hold you accountable to it. Find you a trading buddy in the group that speaks the same language. Y'all trading the same methodology, and then you keep each other accountable. We noticed that development started to happen in the group organically. People were creating and doing. They weren't waiting for us to get on Zoom. They were getting on their own Zooms within the group and charting together, looking for the same plays. And for the most part, as straters, you're typically coming to the same conclusions on plays. Some people are going to identify things that others don't. So those two things would definitely help. Say it out loud and write down a plan in the process of going public in the group. Now, how to find consistent volatile trades. Now, personally, whenever it comes to volatility, we're paying attention to the VIX because we understand the effect that has on the options contracts in terms of, if the VIX is up or down is going to depend upon how much options contracts have to move in order to give you, the great return that we would all absolutely love to hit on and that we search for. So the consistent volatile trades, I would say you, for the most part, want to pay more attention to where the money resides. It's typically not going to be the stuff that you hear people talk about publicly. Now, as the strat catches on and becomes more mainstream to those who don't want to keep scalping for the most part, or following, traders. Look, I'm be honest. Like I told y'all, I'm going to rant a little bit, and this is just my own personal belief. And individuals will tell you in the chat based upon their own experience from the path that we've all taken before to getting to this point now. You're going to see videos of individuals who run massive groups, and we know they make a lot of money on subs, and whether or not they're good traders is left up to personal subjectivity from them. But when they get gassed about hitting 20 or 30%, personally, keep that to yourself. That's just me. Because those type of trades and you getting excited about 20 or 30%, for them, it's not the percentage. It has more to do with the amount of money that they're making. And to be honest, if you're starting with a small account or you're trying to get out of the hole, you're trying to get out of the PDT rule, you're trying to break 5, you're trying to break 10 bands, you're trying to get out of 25K and develop that process that'll keep you moving on and on and on a consistent basis, right? When you start off, in order to hit, they want to tell you that you got to dink and dunk down the field like you're doing 2 to 3 yard passes like people thought the Patriots are always doing in order to get down to reach success. That's not true. Look, the reason why they scalp is because they don't know where price is going, period. We have other group leaders. They have groups of their own. They're also members of Alphapack. They are family. They are wolves in themselves, alphas in their own right. They will openly tell you, man, before the strat, that's how I used to trade. Personally, that's how I used to trade. Now, you'll learn from Boss Gang VIP. One of the things I learned about the statistic of the market in terms of how much of the market's movement actually occurs after hours, meaning like over 90% of the movement that you're missing happens after hours. So I don't care how many people try to point out the percentage that they hit on a day trade. That's great. But if you cut it and it kept moving, you didn't prove anything to me, except you could do a thing that might be a little bit more difficult to replicate with somebody else. But since majority of the people that are trading aren't financially free and they have jobs, I would say scalping isn't the best thing for them to be doing. It's matter of fact, there was a cool quote that I had seen from a fire trader that I highly respect. He puts on certain retreats and so forth. His name is Jeremy Newsom. He said a lot of people don't like day trading because you have to experience more loss in order to get to that point. So like day traders will basically just tell you that losing is a part of the process. Consistent losing. And this is true. This is the reason why you constantly hear them talk about having tight stops. Now, the thing is, their stop losses have absolutely nothing to do with why they got into the trade to begin with. It's funny how there's a disconnect between why you get in and yet why you get out. So when you see a shooting percentage and it's like, bro, my shooting percentage was 34%, but this is how much I made. Majority of those trades that they got stopped out on, or sorry, that they had a tight stop, honestly moved after the fact and kept going. After the fact, they got out. And so now you're told you got to be proud of having super tight stops. Look, I'm just going to say, first off, the reason why you got in and the reason why you get out have to align. We trade price action. We want to be where the money resides. Institutional money, right? So if I want to trade alongside what institutions are trading, and they are more concerned about the price of a stock, the value, correct? Is there an indicator that's going to dictate what the value of the stock is? No. So if they are also investing in the stock and they're looking at a company for completely different reasons about why you're trading it, and then their reason is based upon what the company is doing, but a little bit more about what the value looks like in the future, how can an indicator that is taking past price action based upon past decisions tell you where the current stock? All right, I'll leave that alone. But anyway, he also says that and you always have to control the urge to always trade. The reason why is because school has completely screwed up how you mentally process trading. School has, you had to get over 70, 80%. I don't know how they changed the grading scale. But anyway, so if you look at, you're trying to become as perfect as possible, but you keep losing, boy, it's funny how your emotions kick in and all of a sudden tell you gotta win. So if there was only a replicable process that can just be cookie cutter stamped over and over and over again, the reason why you get in, how you manage, full execution, and why you got out, that exists. If you have not heard of it, this is why we are here right now. The other thing, learning full time frame continuity. We got a lot of that full time frame continuity, and we are going to go ahead and break that down. Let's see. And then, so let's just go ahead and jump into some charts before we, let's see. Let's just go ahead and jump straight into it. Okay, so let's get here on SPY. So right now we're in a quarter. One of the things that you'll obviously know as a stratter, Monday starts new quarter, new month. I get excited about this typically because you usually see different decision making happen whenever this occurs. But one of the things that we all know is we have a Momo shooter, and the most beautiful Momo shooter, actionable signal as far as the quarter is concerned, and it's stunning. So let's go ahead and see. So let's go ahead and move this out of the way. We are going to talk time frame continuity. Now, time frame continuity, for the most part, for the individuals who do not understand, time frame continuity is going to give you the visual representation of which party is in control. We have two parties that we're dealing with, buyers and sellers. As you all know, I hope that's, why price is going up and down. And those parties are vying for position. And there are levels that we get to watch in price on any given time frame that lets us understand who is in control. Now, the easiest way to understand who is in control is whenever we have a thing called uncoupling. Uncoupling is where you have your macro time frames for the most part. So we are talking about your year, your 6 month, your quarter, your month, your week, your day, and your 60 all separate from each other. So if you don't understand this process, on the first day of the year. So if we pull up SPY here, if you are not familiar with the strat scenarios, I suggest that you go pull it up on YouTube. For the most part, I'll just give you a brief rundown. There are 3 scenarios. Scenario 1, inside bar. Current candle that you're looking at did not break the high or the low of the previous price. Scenario 2, fully directional bar. Let you know who's in control on that time frame. If it breaks the high of the previous candle, it is a 2 up. If it breaks only the low of the previous candle, it is a 2 down, the high or the low. That's what's important. And then if it is a scenario 3, as you can see here, it has taken out the high and the low. If you are familiar with the candlestick trading Bible, it is an engulfing candle. Now, it can be either bullish or bearish depending upon the color. Now, whenever it comes to time frame continuity. So when it comes to the strat, we care about the high and low because price action occurred on a smaller time frame in that window, the high and the low. Look at it as a window. So time frame continuity is dealing with the open and the close. First day of the year, or I think it was the second day of the year, SPY took out the high of the previous year, and then immediately after that started crashing down. So the first day of the year, all of those time frames have the same candle. If you pull up a yearly chart on, first day of January, trading day of January, it's going to look like the daily and the week and the month and the quarter and so forth and so on. So every month in the second Tuesday, I believe it's the second hour, those time frames uncouple as far as the month is concerned. So the month, the week, the day, and the 60 all have their own time frame. So if we were looking at that, how I'll be charting, you'll notice that as far as the quarter is concerned, last month or last quarter, it was 36 or 376.61 in that range as far as the quarter. But if you look at the month opened at like 392.61. So, and the week had a different opening, and the day has a different opening. So when all those time frames uncouple, for us to understand which party is in control is completely dictated upon which side of those opening levels is price. So when you look at the quarter and you look at the month and you look at the day or the week and the day, price is below the openings for all of those time frames. You can clearly see that by yellow hollow candle being bearish, blue filled candle being bullish. So if all the time frames are yellow, you have full time frame continuity. This basically tells us that sellers are getting a dub. Simple as that. So whenever it comes to the strat, the simple thing that we are trying to process is who is in control or who is taking control. I would say that's definitely a thing that we probably specialize as far as in the group. Shout out to the homie Adex for giving a name. You know what I'm saying? The trigger machine gun, for the most part, I didn't know what to call it. But to me, it was just looked like a domino effect. So, because you got to patent that or trademark it or something, that trigger machine gun, for the most part. But you can, instead of you waiting to see if a stock has full time frame continuity, you can actually trade a setup that is flipping continuity. And back to the person who asked about the volatile trades, the most explosive trades that you typically find are those that are flipping continuity one by one by one. And it just looks like a small domino taking out a bigger domino, taking out a bigger domino. The simple formula to that is, and I have a set up checklist to that, pen and paper, write this down. If X reverses and hits target, what will that make Y look like? X being the current time frame, Y being the next highest time frame. If the answer to that question, if we are looking at the day and the answer to that question is it's basically going to be repeating the same process of reversal on the next higher time frame. So if I'm looking at the day and the day is reversing with the opportunity to flip the 2-day, and let's say the 2-day has the opportunity to then flip the week. We are talking about the color or continuity. If we are red on those time frames and we reverse and flip green on those time frames, guess what? You are flipping continuity. The more time frames that can end up flipping, especially coming off the bottom of a broadening formation, those typically be the trades that become more explosive. So always pay attention to that. We go in depth in that, whether it be in the group, in the Alpha Way course. But yeah. So now, just an overall A1 setup. Somebody asked. They want to know about that. Where to enter, put price target, stop loss, and what should you look at on different time frames. So this is basic strat 101. So when it comes to the strat, the beautiful thing about it is there's no guessing whenever it comes to trigger. Now, the one thing I love about it is because it makes you go in depth in terms of what's happening under the hood. Most people become stratters. This is a huge mistake. Red flag. I wish I had. Man, I wish I had the bomb drop. Man, I need the soundboard that we use during the day. But here's the money. Here is a definite money lesson right here. So one of the things that you need to pay attention to whenever it comes to price action. Listen, I know when you learn the strat from YouTube, the first thing you want to do is you jump in a group and they have a cheat sheet that's going to show you all the possible reversals. Do not make the same mistake that most new stratters have made without getting proper guidance. The number one thing you're going to see is people just see the codes and you're just going to try to trade codes. It's not that simple. There's more to the process than that. Now, the beautiful thing about it is it simplifies the process that's happening between buyers and sellers. Sellers are trying to stop out buyers. They want more liquidity, shares to sell short. Or if buyers just step away and they are selling short, they're going to make more money. Buyers want to stop out sellers. If they need more shares and liquidity in the market, and let's say the volume has kicked up dramatically in order to push price up, or they want sellers to step away so there is not a wall, or they want sellers to then have to buy to close in order to then push price up higher. They're trying to stop each other out. If you understand where they put stop losses, they are at the high or the low, depending upon who's going up or down. This is the reason why you see levels or targets get hit when we're trading the strat, and then price retraces. What do you think was sitting up there? If you reversed up and hit target, sell orders were there. That's what caused price to come down. But then you reversed. Get it? If you were short and hit target, it's why price could hit target and then retrace. Simple as that. So it makes youth understand what's actually happening under the candles. I say happening under the hood, but you got to think about that. It's super, super easy. And as far as the setup, we understand we are trying to find trades that are reversing off of bottom of broadening formation that have magnitude, in a sense, how far something can go. Let's pull the curtain back on SPY. SPY, for the most part, I don't want to count this again. I think it's like a 10-week BF or something like that as far as a compound bar is concerned. Let's just keep it simple. SPY, for the most part, has the potential for a weekly broadening formation. It's there. It's higher time frame, but I'm not going to get into all accounting. That's a completely different story. If somebody asks a question, we can go in depth to that, but we probably go over this more than any freaking thing in the group. So if price were to reverse magnitude, just to kind of give you a point here, is going to be dictated by, turn off the magnet, how far price can go. Delete, delete, delete. There we go. Bam. All right. So if price is looking to go then take out range because of expansion, we know how far this could go. Plus, we're in the process. We're going to mark where would this flip green. So we're getting a new quarter and a new month. So we don't have enough information to start other than the fact that, well, it was full time frame continuity from the year down to like the minute. So you probably don't get more bearish than that. I mean, unless you want to start drawing 2-year charts like we have. So the setups are very easy. Where you put your target, well, the strat gives you that. If it's a 2-1-2, we know where to put the target. Now, I'm not going to jump super in depth into that. We have, there is cheat sheet for all of the individuals who, if you want information sent in terms of that, wait for what I have for you this week. If like whoever asked that question, you specifically said just an overall A1 setup, where to enter, put price, target, stop loss. What I just created is exactly what you need. And so that will take care of every single answer there. Knowing where to enter and exit will take care of all of that. Let's see, full time frame continuity, went over that. Swing trading, for the most part, swing trading is going to be Dick. Man, he's the best person to talk about this. He turned me from being a hard-headed day trader, just strictly, like just completely omitting swing trading, to being a swing trader because it's 10 times easier. Now I only take day trades that literally can turn into a swing, because why would you sell something that is going into full time frame continuity? So remember, I said full time. If you don't know this, I said the full time frame continuity has just showing us who's in control. That means if buyers are in control, they got their foot on the gas. You should also have your foot on the gas. So if, let's say, 91% of market's movement happens after hours, and you know the range in which price would go, and let's say it's telling you that price has the potential and is more than likely going to move, let's say 20% over the next 2 months or month. We've seen that happen as well. Why would you get in and get out on a day-to-day basis instead of using a little common sense? Well, okay, using a little sense, and then play a short term as well as play a long term. And then when the short term, yeah, y'all was about to get me to talk about the rolling. But anyway, play the magnitude so you can make as much money as possible. Then you won't have to worry. You can literally you can sell the contract. Resume, bro. They about got me talking about the you could sell the contract and then just buy a longer term and just sit tight until you hit magnitude. I'll just leave it at that. Yeah. Anyway, broadening formations. Love it. I love it. Let's go over that. Broadening formations. Very simple. Remember I talked about scenario 3. Scenario 3 is a candle that took out the previous candle's high and the previous candle's low. A broadening formation is nothing more. Listen very carefully. A broadening formation is nothing more than the evidence of a scenario 3 on a higher time frame. A scenario 3, as you can see here on the screen, is nothing more than evidence of a broadening formation on a smaller time frame. So when we draw them, I personally, it's my cup of tea, I draw from the leading candle, high to high, low to low. Now, this is not the formation in itself. That's how I see it. If I went to a smaller time frame, let's say the week, and I then look at how price action behaved within that level, obviously it would need some adjustment. I did not lock the range. You would notice how you have high, low, high, low, and then price broke out. So that's going, and mind you, price respects old broadening formations. Period. You can take, if you don't believe so, you can take that up with your auntie with the mustache. I'm sure they would be willing to argue, but we have way too many people in a group as case studies, and we do ourselves, and other pack members with their own groups that hit with this practice, and they save their people a lot of heartache in terms of range, because we know where price might reverse, because we draw our broadening formations. And no, your chart doesn't get messy, because when you're in on the time frame that you're supposed to be watching, you don't even see all the lines. So you really want to learn something tonight, draw your broadening formations. If there's a question of what time frame do you draw your broadening formations on, FICO, I'm glad you asked. I draw them on the year, the 6 month, the quarter, the month, and the week. I don't draw them on the day, because like I said, I'm looking to swing trade, even if it's a day trade, because I want the magnitude. The day is not really going to tell me much, because the process and time frame in which I'm looking to take the trade goes beyond the day. So, yeah. Now, individuals ask about the flip. They want to know about the flip in continuity. Now, one of the things that people ask in terms of the flip, there are studies you can get on TOS. One was created, I don't know the gentleman's name. Maybe some of you that still chart on TOS can tell me. Post it in the chat. Was it Pellensax or whatever? I don't know how to pronounce his name. Where the screen in the background, depending upon what time frame you're on, actually lit up green or red. Like the whole screen lit up green or red. I didn't understand the power of that, like, when I first started learning the strat. That's actually a really good tool, especially if you use like a quad chart, like I used to. Now, personally, I use multi-time frame overlays, so I don't necessarily see it in that manner. So I use a full time frame continuity indicator or study. I think it's actually, nope, I don't know where it's at. I think it was made by Wolf and Bear. Yes. Yeah, it's like strat, candles, open, levels, active. I like turn off all the other stuff except for the full time frame continuity. I just want to know where the level goes green. So when I'm charting, I can openly see if the flip will occur at that level. Now, great question. Very basic. I see a weekly trigger. 2 down, 2 up hammer. How far out should I buy the calls? Now, if I see price above my trigger, but then trade down on the day or close below my trigger, do I get out? Let's see. So personally, if you have a weekly trigger, even if it's a weekly contract, in our group, we buy what we call combo meals. We take advantage of the long-term trigger to make guaranteed money. Or better yet, you're paying for peace. So if I'm taking the first weekly trigger on something, and hopefully you're trading something that's your wage or what your port is. Like, you're not, like, if you were working with $1,000 port and the contract costs $840, that don't really leave you much if you took like the month out. So for instance, it is October currently. I will trade if it's a weekly trigger, yes, I will take the October monthly. But my thought process is the November, but I'm going to do both. And then if we really take off and we have a cascading set of triggers, like we talking about from the day up to the week, then I'm wholeheartedly looking to take short term as well, especially if we can get the Wednesday to Friday. But that's if there's like a reversal in the day to take short term. The reasoning for this is because I have peace further out, max return, and not having to put much chicken up on the short term, which turns into a lot. And then if it moves, guess what? You could then, see, you almost had me say it again. You could sell the contract and then you could buy the matchup with the other one. I'm not going to give away like that part. That's like, so it's not because I don't want to tell you. I tell people in the mentorship group and we talk about it in the pack, but I don't want to be responsible for some of y'all's decision making when that's like, I have a practice that I do that in my mind it's more expert level, and when we get into that, but you got to ask me privately about what I do to basically turn small winners into large winners. Let's see, broadening formation and entry to play. I don't know what entry to play means. Staying in your winning trades. Well, I would have to ask, why were you getting out? Most people get out because they're looking at P&L. They didn't remember. I said earlier, your reasoning for getting in has to be the reason for getting out. That's just common. It should be trader sense. Your reason for getting in and your reason for getting out have to be one and the same. So it has to be based upon price. If I have a trade where I'm coming off the bottom of a broadening formation and I've worked out the entire plan. So for instance, let's take you back to, I'm not going to say, like, it's not like, okay, so I'll explain this. So back the weekend of August 22nd, I posted about this on my Instagram. I'm going to work out a setup right here before your very eyes. The week of August 22nd, me and the bros did the watch list call. I gave one thing that I was paying attention to, and that was SPX and SPY, because they had the same setup. Wanted people to understand that this was the beginning of August right here. First thing I'm paying attention to is, are we coming off a broadening formation, which we were. Broadening formation cut over this high here, and we literally hit it and rejected down the last day of the week and turned into a weekly shooter. So first thing I'm paying attention to is our trigger. So let's just say this is our weekly trigger, 421.22. I told everyone 421.22, we have a 2-2 reversal off an actionable signal shooter right here, coming off the high of a broadening formation, which cut through the top. Boom. Not sure what time frame that broadening formation was on, but yes. If you want, you can go back and watch that watch list call. It'll August 22nd. Remember that. And so we just pointed out simply, this was the target. Why? Because the strat said so. 2-2. 410.22. Now, number one thing I have to pay attention to, other part of that formula I told you about, if X reverses here, hits target, what would that make Y look like? Part two of that formula is, will this flip continuity? Or sorry, flip, threaten, however you see it. This right here was the opening of the month. So if you were to get this reversal, I ask, would it be threatening to flip continuity? And the answer is yes. And that's exactly what we did. Now, here's the thing. If the month opened up here and we got a shooter in the third week of the month, and I know that that's not supposed to be happening. There we go. What the? Yo, trading with you is something else. All right, cool. Yo. All right. We are magnetizing. We are not supposed. Okay. So the line between the shooter and the previous candle, let's separate this in time. The shooter happened in the back half of the month. So what occurs after this candle ends the month. and will tell me more about what the next month is going to do than what these two candles did. Am I correct? Yes. So if we hit shooter, target, and flip continuity, my only question is, what does that make the next higher time frame look like? Well, it turned the month into a shooter. We didn't have to wait for the trade to open to know that. We simply could mark the chart, trigger, entry, target, take profit. No. No. Continuity. Boom. Off the top of broadening formation. So since it turned the month into a shooter, we got a whole new question to ask. If with a new month opening after that week. So start the process all over again. If price reversed here at trigger, once again, bam, and hit target, which was, I think it was 122. Yes, 122 month. Target was the low of the year from that level, and we were flipping continuity on the quarter. So literally, because you seen a shooter week off a broadening formation and asked a simple question, if price reversed here and hit target, what would it make the next higher time frame look like, and does it threaten continuity? I was able to literally take a trade that I pointed out. I told you all on the watch list call what contracts we were getting, and it literally hit target the last week of the month. It's the strat is unfair. Yes, the formula will guide you through the question that you ask, how do I find a setup? Every single one-on-one I do, I'm literally telling you right now the same thing that I tell them. Like Asa just said, it's the same exact process that I carry out. Strat give you find actionable signal. I know what the magnitude is. What was the magnitude? How far it could go. Price just ends up doing what it's supposed to do. The simple answer to why this worked out was because knowing that you had an actionable signal, dog, setup there was showcasing that you had buyers stepping away. So the moment you realize that buyers are stepping away, you have to understand the why. There's not levels that's going to tell you why they're doing what they're doing. Economically, I'm certain as a trader, majority of you on here know what is happening in the world. So it's not necessarily buyer just selling. Like, these cats have no real security in buying to go long right now. So if you knew that continuity going fully to the downside was simply telling you what? Who's in control? And if their foot is on the gas, your foot is on the gas. So if you could find out that they would be taking control before they ever do it, you would feel like you were cheating, right? Yes, that's what the strat tells you. Period. Hashtag black strat. Just gonna shout out to the homie. Yarn. Okay, so another one. Let's see. Create watch list that matches my small account size. That's actually pretty dope. I love what Boss Gang VIP did early on for us. He put us on the tickers that I swear we thought he was making up. And sometimes, and this is no slight to, yes it is. I'm gonna hold you. I'm tired of being nice. Let's keep 100. So individuals watch our watch list call, and we know they do because then you see tweets about stuff and it gets retweeted, or you could search up the ticker and it's like people that you don't follow, but then you be like, wait a minute, ain't you in our, and you don't realize they got a group. Like, we know in our group for the most part, most people have a group. But then you'll notice that Boss Gang will call out tickers that don't be normal. Be like, I ain't never seen nobody post about this. And then they go off. But nobody be like, yo, Boss Gang had to fire a call out. No. They run and go tell somebody else in their group, yo, look at this call out I found. but you ain't got none of the reasoning about why it did what it did. Do that next time, ladies and gentlemen. If the individual who comes and tells you, like, bro, you got to take a look at such and such, this look fire, ask them why. See if it's an original thought. Because you might be buying secondhand information. Just saying. But anyway, so tickers that never heard about. Like, dude be getting 5-cent contracts. What he just did on SPY, bro, what was those? They were 12 cent. Like, I mean, the lot of people were buying long. And I openly let it be known when I bought SPX that it was more of a bet because price action wasn't saying we're going up. And then at the end of the day, we literally watched it close right inside of a broadening formation, which, you know, we pointed that out. And that really kind of had me hot in the process of it doing that. And then the very next day, gap down in tank. When Boss Gang bought it, the price was going, like the price action was going up. But he literally broke down the rules for why you don't buy long unless you have an actionable signal that was created on the necessary time frame outside of the broadening formation. So now I know we out of here. No. Very bullish day. Very bullish day. Matter of fact, even made an actionable signal on the day. On the 2-day, whole thing looked bullish, like it was going to completely reverse. But simply knowing the tiny detail of process allowed me to, before close, get 3760 puts. What do we do the next day? What do we do? Tank it. Listen, it's fundamentally processed. So for your reasoning for entry, exit, management, Strat takes care of all of that. Where are the best places to draw intraday time frames and knowing how to place stop loss for it? Personally, stop loss. I know some people try to take the wind from beneath my wings whenever I just simply try to tell individuals about practice that we were doing in the group, because we found the real 50% rule, not the other one, the real one. And simply because the one that we had been made aware of didn't work and all the time, and people were getting stopped out at this particular level because that's, never mind. Anyway, I have my reasoning for getting out of setups is just simply based upon, I'm not even for sure the trader who named it. I'm sure homeboy with the mask said something on their video. I can't remember the trader's name, but it's years. It's old. I let people know in the course. I let people know in the session. It's old. It's not something I created. It's not something I found. It's just something that we found very useful. So battleground level, 50%. Shout out to the homie Adex. He spoke about it in his Sepia group. What do you call it? Weekend shift video. You got a bullish side, you got a bearish side. It's the level that most institutions on the macro as far pay the most attention to. And so if I get price action to reverse, I'm using 50% the level. So 50% of the trigger candle. So if it was hammer and then we reverse to go up, that trigger candle, the 50% level, if price closes below or opposite zone of that candle, on the, so let me find I always go to Apple. You can do it on SPY. It's cool. It's the day. Yep. All right. Oh yeah. Notice how like the broadening formations are not in your way, but if I went to the month, you would see tons of them. Yeah, it's funny how it works. So Apple will use a weekly overlay so we can make sense of this. So this is a weekly chart with a daily chart with weekly overlay. So I'll point out one of the reversal levels that this happened on Apple after this run up. So No crap. All right. I'm cool with it. All right, boom. So Apple had a few weeks where price here, as you can see, I'll zoom in. On the day, price was going up 312. So 3 is a reversal in itself. You just need a 3 to reverse. But remember, 3 is evidence of a broadening formation on a smaller time frame. So if price stays inside and looks to go back up, evidence you're more than likely getting a 312 back the other way. So if you do get that and the price goes up, you have your entry over the inside bar. So you're long. Say you're in a trade. Person wants to know, what is my stop loss? Well, if you got weeks out, let's say you got a month to go, like my SPX contracts don't expire until October 21st. I got time. Been in there since the week of August the 22nd. If I'm on a weekly chart, then I need price to close in the opposite zone. So down here in the bearish level, below this line on the next smallest time frame. Personally, that's how I trade it. Works every time in this manner. If price freezes on the day and closes above that zone, and then you get a reversal, you have the same reasoning for either getting in for the first time, adding onto a position that you've already been in, or if you closed in the bearish zone when trying to go long, or you're already long, then you would know that you would want to cut it. That's just my simple practice, especially when price is like already taken off. And this works on, if you take a reversal on the hour, then I need to close on the 30 in the opposite zone. So this is the reason why I use that as a clear-cut rule. All options contracts are not made the same. Obviously, all time frames and expirations don't have the same effect on your options contract. Obviously. So if that is the case, then I need price to be the reason why I get out. If you get a greater loss simply because you bought a weekly versus somebody who bought a month out, then that's like your issue. So, but if it keeps going, I guarantee you the decision that you make is not going to be predicated upon price. It's just going to be like, dang, it didn't move in force, which is another thing. People ask, what does move in force mean? I've seen this on YouTube. People talking about the strap. We're going to talk about this in depth. Just understand this. If you take a weekly reversal, if you take a daily reversal and the price didn't move on the 15-minute candle through the trigger, just going off like a rocket, here's what I've learned. And I say learn because this is something I paid attention to, the same thing I was being taught. You can't judge in force based upon any other time frame than the time frame of the trigger that went off. So if I traded a weekly candle, I can't judge in force on any time frame but the week. It would take a whole week. So if a person says, no, that's not right. Well, check this out. Rob Smith, creator of the Strat, teaches, and people ask, bro, if the trigger went off on October the 3rd, oh man, I missed it. What was it? A monthly reversal? Yeah, bro, it's a monthly reversal. Well, you know the trigger is good like all month, right? Oh, so if the trigger is good for the whole month, then what exactly is enforced in? Just a thought. Let's see. Consistent strategy. To be honest, stick with the plan. Broadening formations, draw them. Actionable signals, trade them off of broadening formations. Trades that flip continuity. Simple as that. You want continuity to be in your favor. Remember, the 60-minute candle is the candle that's in control, right? It's in control. So If you want to trade in the direction of continuity, because that visually lets you know who's in control. If you want to make more money on your trades, then you want to trade reversals that have a great magnitude and that are flipping continuity. Simple as that. Now, and I'm going to say this straight up. I didn't expect to rant about certain things like this, but I got to show love to pack members, people that are, I consider family. I personally do not trade in the ghetto, as we call it. Small time frame, 1 minute, 5 minute, things like that. Just simply because I'm not that nosy. We call it the ghetto because you gotta really be nosy down there, and you know what it's like when you ride through the hood and then all the blinds is all broken and stuff like that, because people is always peeking outside because something's always happening. So, but I just keep hearing from people who come from other places, and they probably don't look like many of us that are on this live stream. The one thing that I have just noticed is that I'm just constantly being told about what's happening in other people's groups that trade the strat, and about certain predictions that they've made, and they getting dragged through the coals. I'm gonna just say it straightforward. If you gonna want to play in a small time frame and you got the time and the energy to play and hit short term to turn day trade small amounts, that's what you want to do. If you gonna trade ICT, please go to the Oily Boys. I'm gonna just keep it a buck. Look, I understand this whole process that people have in terms of competition and whatever, but you will see hashtag black strat for a reason. I'm just gonna say that right now. I don't care what anyone says. I don't have a problem with anybody. I just know that it's gonna be us that looks out for us. It's not even like a trader thing. It's just that it's just a different way, the way we do things. And there's individuals, for the most part, who find themselves to be helpful, and there's been individuals who find themselves to be gatekeepers. In the midst of trading, even though we are all here to get green, you got to understand there are some people, bro, they are only here for the clout. And for all you know, they literally just started trading options. No, they've been trading for a while, but they ain't been trading options that long. Pay attention if they constantly changing the recipes. Like, they keep moving on from this different thing to this different thing, and they keep trying to add different sauce to the strat. And it's not even within the rules. Like, it legitimately be like whole changing like why you got in the trade. Like, nothing that's gonna like add to the tool belt. Like, the reason why we use the 50% rule is because just setting tight stops made absolutely no sense. I don't care. People in the comments will tell you it genuinely doesn't make sense. Options contracts aren't all the same. And then you understand that time is your leverage. I've learned this. Trust me. Boss Gang VIP, if he was on the call, I wish you get. Look, listen, if you're not an Alphapack, every Friday we do Bring a Friend Friday. So you can step forward, ask questions in the DMs. You can ask questions in the chat. You can talk in the call. You can literally come learn for free. We can break down trades like we do this live. But I'm just letting you know right now. If you want to go play down in the ghetto, and I personally, from what I have seen and understand, the way that they have not changed the recipes. They have just utilized the same methodology that I'm telling you, and they got they sauce to what they do. Trust me, the predictions, hashtag blackstrap. We keep it at that. Now, I asked people before I move on, not to keep everybody too much longer, what's been the greatest trading struggle that people have had? You got to understand that part of the thing that goes on is this internal struggle that goes on in your mind. And one of the things that I tried to do with the Alpha Way, which incentivizes people to join the pack because of the community. That's the biggest reason. I wanted people to understand that they will come in and they will ask, where should I start? Well, I wanted to point you in the direction of right here. And then just for after the fact, sure, you paid for the information being put in a nice, neat box in this flow. But guess what? You also can sit down with me and do a free one-on-one. You also can ask me questions whenever you wanted to, and on the fly, I'll answer them. And plus, you got other seasoned straters in there who will answer questions for you. And then you will expedite your learning curve and process and shrink the gap very, very quickly. And so one of the things that people say to like cutting positions too short, only to see them going in a different direction. Things like the 50% rule are going to help, because not only does the strat give you a reason for entry, it's price, it's the trigger. It give you a target and a series of targets based upon the time frame that you're playing. It gives you reasoning. It breaks down specifically what's happening underneath the hood, so it simplifies stuff. Like, think about this. It's monumental that the man could be at a church revival and literally probably hands up to God. All of a sudden, he got 3 scenarios. Listen, if you are new and don't understand the strat and don't understand why it works, I don't know if anybody's broken this down or if you heard it this way. This is my personal way of explaining it, but bruh, no one has told you that no matter what time frame you are watching, you can only see price have 3 outcomes. That's the 3 scenarios. No one has given you this process for understanding that price has to expand its range in order to go up and down. And if you understand why the scenarios work and what the buying and selling process is happening, then you understand why a broadening formation makes sense. Period. Then once you understand time frame continuity, that's not a new thing. Rob had 20 plus years of firsthand experience from his papa, who was on the trading floor of the largest options institution in the country. The man like ran the floor for Merrill Lynch. Like, y'all dealing with like a savant in a sense when it comes to that. If there's only 3 scenarios and we know that we're looking for reversals, there are only so many outcomes when it comes to reversals. So if you knew the where to look for, the what to look for, and the why, you dang near can't miss. So now you got your reason for getting in. But then for most people, they needed a reason for getting out. And that was, why am I getting out? To take profit. And why am I getting out? Because the play is dead. Not because my options contract said it's down blah, blah, blah %. That's not, you can do that. But I guarantee you, for the most part, a lot of you will find it, your port growth will be doing this. It will be doing a lot of this because there's no consistency in the reasoning. It's in the process that the outcome comes. So for the most part, entry and close position, trigger, target, 50% rule. Person says being greedy. And let me stop you. There's no such thing. If you have magnitude and you've analyzed the contract, which, by the way, everyone in here should be doing. If you don't know how much you're going to make, how do you know if it's worth your time? Like, don't be out here taking 1-to-1s and 2-to-1s. Don't do that. Like, please. Like, you are wasting your time. In the moment that you realize that you're better off waiting to find a 4, 5, 6 plus to 1, then you're going to find yourself growing faster. So then you get traders, if you start to brag on Instagram in another group, because many of you got multiple memberships, you're going to go brag in another group because of what you just discovered or what like you was enlightened upon. And you're going to either 1, get blocked from speaking, 2, get told you're being greedy for taking percentages, 3, you're going to get told that, nah, that don't happen all the time. That's not normal. Dog, How many of y'all in this chat, for the individuals who are not part of Alphapack, who don't hit for percentages like that, let's be honest. If you don't, it's cool. We can get you there. It's nothing. ADEX can get you there. If you want to trade, day trade, Oily Boys can get you there. Hashtag Black Strat. Like, dog, they scout because they don't know where price is going. Period. This is not that difficult. You are going to find smarter individuals in life when it comes to talking about economic things, business, mentorship, that are wolves than you're going to find most other places. So the whole feeling like you're greedy, eliminate that immediately. That's not a real thing. Like, the market will give you opportunity to take all you can. You just need to know the where, the what, and the why. That's answered through the strat. Getting consistent profits process. Simple. Chart every single setup is charted the same way. The reasoning or the reversal in itself might be different, but it's actionable signal. Potential to flip continuity off of a broadening formation. It's a reversal. Simple as that. I'm going to analyze contract to tell me the time frame. Now, every single email that asks a question, if you are currently on, I am going to be sending you a setup checklist. The setup checklist. If you are on, and I'm going to make a video about it and post it on Instagram as well, just to remind the many individuals who probably seen the reel and came to and answered that call. If you are open to having a lot of these questions answered, so I got two paths for you. One, I'm doing a 3-step masterclass. It's free. It's all you, bub. All you. We're gonna be going over 3 scenarios, the in-depth nature of them. These 3 scenarios, this video will be going on my YouTube channel. And yes, it's all Alphapack branded. Breaking down time frame continuity, the importance of it. It's going on the YouTube channel. You get to just bang, bang, bang. We're going to be going over the back half practice that I thought was a natural thing and about the reason why people needed to pay attention to this. The back half is nothing more than if you took an hour. Remember, the hour is who is in control right now when it comes to the strat. The hour. Who is in control right now. And if you could literally see who was taking control before it ever even occurred, without an indicator, without anything telling you other than knowing that a strat reversal presenting itself in the last 30 minutes of an hour, the last 2 15-minute candles, which are going to tell you more about what the next hour is going to do than the first 30 minutes. Makes sense, right? Like, if I took away the last 30 minutes and asked you what's going to happen in the next hour, you're not going to know, period. You need the last 2 15 minutes. So there's a whole process behind this, and you can actually do this on multitude of time frames, but it's just best whenever you see the hour because it allows you to take advantage of, 1, either getting out, or 2, getting in and taking advantage of a reversal, especially for things like, you know, day trades that eventually turn into swings. So you make sure you get the best price. That's why we're here. Boss Gang VIP told you, buy low, sell high. If you have not heard that single, you can go download it at all your DSPs right now by Boss Gang VIP. Buy low, sell high. It should be your trading theme song that you listen to every morning to get pumped up. Also, there's a bonus in that, because it's one thing for me to give you 3 portions of the importance of this and a back history of the strat and why it's so important, but you probably need to know how to put it together. Yes. Now, it's not going to be all that you get in the alpha way. Don't get me wrong. There's free 101 for that. There's a mentorship group for that. And you are incentivized to join a group if that's what you want to do. Simple as that. But whichever path you decide to take, and if you're still going to probably have questions, you can look for follow-up, ask me questions, blah, 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 after the fact. Now, if you just want to sit down for an hour, you could do that. But I got a path for everybody. All these questions that are being asked, picking the right swing trade, staying consistent with the trading plan. If it's mental stuff, then we probably just need to have a chat. You need a Wendy Rhodes in your life, or let's call myself Wendell. You need a Wendell Rhodes in your life. Finding setups, that's not difficult. TTOs, that's having the pivot get taken out and then create the bottom of a broadening formation because it's just a creation of a 3 that goes back up. Then the reversal that's coming in a smaller time frame. That's not, no. You need it broken down. And as far as risk management is concerned, you don't risk what you can't lose. Now, there is a finesse whenever it comes to management. And there's things that I do, like rolling contracts. I'm not going to get into all that right now. Yeah, people in Alphapack know about it. And it's a little bit more expert level. And when a person is trying to grow, matter of fact, tell me right now if y'all would rather see okay, so when I started the ride along, I didn't process that my son was going to be born like 2 weeks later, and how much of my focus that would actually take. That was I'm stupid. So it cut it short. And man, we had a great run whenever we started. I think it was like first week was like 500 to like 32 or something like that. Would y'all like for me to do for the new people? Would you like for me to do the ride along? Because we can start the ride along again tomorrow. Everybody in the household is in great health. And so I feel like if it would help you see things better for the most part, and then I will more than likely do more breaking down of those trades, which will benefit people in the mentorship group. And that'll probably help those because, you know, they like paid to be there. But if it will help, then that will be probably a staple of the YouTube. So I'd rather you understand the strat in its essence without recipes being changed. I'd like for you to understand how monumental it is because, like I said, if there's only 3 outcomes that can occur, then there's a finite amount of outcomes. That means there's a finite amount of reversals, meaning it is very easy for you to pick the lock, or in this case, the code that is necessary for you to profit on a consistent basis, to develop a process, to give you reasoning for identifying high volatile setups that'll pay, so you can then find the 3, 4, 5 plus to 1 setups. Execution, management, and then as well, you got to understand actually taking profit and not just watching it. Like Cam would always say, wealthy soon. This is not play. Like, you got to be able to see the fruits of your labor. I was one who was so in awe of watching the amount run up when I first started in 2020 that like I used to sit there and watch it. Like, ladies and gentlemen, true story. The day that I broke over 6 figures, so my parents lived 2 hours away from us, I was up like 40 bands that day. And when I was trading on Webull at the time, and when I watched the number go over 100K, I just like, my mom is sitting on the bar stool top, like in our apartment, and like she's in there talking to my wife and so forth, and my pops is in there, and like I broke down into tears. Fam, the trade is still working. I ain't even took profit yet. I was sitting there crying. Like, you see what I mean? Like, sometimes in the process of the journey, we get so in awe that we lose sight. The reason why I want you to become a process trader and take it from me and many other people in the group that will tell you that the transition needs to happen for you to get the outcome that you want in your life is because if you look at all great athletes, if you look at all great musicians, composers, artists, all of them speak about the same thing. It's the work. And you got so many people who want to avoid the work that, like, I wanted to, when I started trading with my partners way before we had a group, before I found the strat, I just knew that they took it seriously, and not the fact that like we all don't show up to trade because we're not trying to make serious money. It was the fact that they like cared so much that if there were problems that went wrong, they tried to fix it. So at the time when I first started, there wasn't really much trying to fix it. It was like, well, all we knew was what we knew. So it was just a group of us who had camaraderie in the previous group. And like, we just moved on and tried to do something else, like play Among Us or watch movies and stuff like that, which is cool because like a bond was created amongst people. But like, I don't want to be a part of a nonprofit organization. That's not why we're here. Mr. Monopoly said today on Twitter that I thought was dope, that Jesus spoke 2 times about money, 2 times as much as he spoke about heaven and hell. And then when you read some of the scripture, especially things like redeeming the time because the days are evil, when you really break down like the etymology of like the Hebrew aspect of that, like he's literally telling you that like you need to buy back your time because life is hard. Like, we are here for a particular reason, and it's serious enough that if your life is going to change, that this is not a video game. My older brother passed away, and my middle brother, who currently is incarcerated, one of the last things that he ever really told me seriously before he was taken away was like, we're out in the parking lot at the hall where they had my brother's celebration, whatever. And like, he just looked me dead in my eyes while twisting the L and told me and my late nephew, he was like, this is not a dress rehearsal. You have one literal life, and every day you wake up with a chance and a choice. You got 2 things, a chance and a choice. So whether his decision making and what he did with his life was the smartest, of course, he always lived at like his life wasn't, he was going to go as hard doing what he was doing. And so what he was doing could have been some energy towards something else, but I completely understand what he was saying. It's like the best advice that I ever got. So while you are currently on this journey, do not stay on the path that has you stuck in quicksand. Immediately grab the hand of the community that is trying to get you out of the hole and put you on a path with somebody who there's no competition. I just told you on Instagram, 1,000 years from now, nobody's going to know who I am. They're not going to know that this black dude from Southern Ohio that found Cyberdog in 2020, or sorry, in 2020, December the 23rd, and found out about the strat and then tried to introduce it to a group of 5,000 people, and then only to have so many people to come and adopt it, to now majority of the people that follow the strat have found out some way, shape, or form or another that if they look like me, majority of the people found out because of me telling other people. They're not going to remember that. Many of you on this Zoom or on YouTube are going to become millionaires, and you're going to change your family's tree forever. Your family ain't going to know who I am. Like, I'm changing my family tree. Like, this bigger deal. Like, we talking about like houses and businesses and construction company and insurance and all of that and above, and other traders coming from that aspect. We talking about like riches beyond riches after me. 1,000 years, anybody in my line, unless they write a book about it, they're not going to remember that it was me. They're not going to remember my name. They're certainly not going to remember FICO Jordan. So beyond competition in this gigantic world of all these people that look like me, that need help, and understanding that how much it changes your community and where you live and your family, it's far more important to me that the only number on the board that matters is how many people I help, because I'm not promised tomorrow. So if I can get a huge group of people in one short space to be able to teach, then that's more on the board. And then the next day, if the Lord lets me see another day for this season, this is what I'm going to keep doing. So if you want to get the Alpha Way course, hit up my the link in my bio on Instagram. Free one-on-one, like I said. I'll be emailing the setup checklist to all the individuals that ask questions. This will help you in this process. If you have questions, ask me on Instagram. If you want to join Alphapack Trading, by all means, visit the website, www.alphapacktrading.com. If you got questions, hit us up on Twitter, Alphapack Trades. Hit us up on Instagram, Alphapack Trading. You just want to ask me personally, hit me up. You want to ask Boss Gang, you want a one-on-one, hit the link in my bio. Whatever the case may be, we got you. Our family members, they dogs in their own right, like all across the board. Like, remember #BlackStrap, because for the most part, from this moment forward, in the future, of what you see coming from this group and the groups that have spawned from us, is going to change the world. I absolutely mean that. We have no choice. So, I glad y'all came to spend some time with me, and prevented me from getting emotional, telling y'all about the whole reason why I do this, because that matters more than anything. It's a 10:46. My family's been asleep, and yeah, I take time away from them to help you all. So, new quarter, new month in the morning. And man, draw your broadening formations. Make sure you have a plan. Say it out loud. And outside of that, remember, I'm going to get more in depth as far as like the charting and specific questions. I guess we're going to be starting the $500 ride along tomorrow. Guess we got some work to do. So if we crash and burn, y'all got to see it first. But the questions that come by, it should be pretty fun. And so look out for the masterclass that's going to drop later on this week. And outside of that, man, I hope you'll have a blessed night. And remember, bring a friend Friday. Bring a friend Friday. If you're not in Alphapack, you want to come trade with me live, ask questions, all of that, there will be a link in my bio tomorrow morning where you can just simply provide email, and then I will send out the access to that on Friday morning, typically around 8:45. And for nothing. Don't pay nothing. Come ask all the questions you want. You can send a link to other people. It's Bring a Friend Friday for a reason. We've been doing it for a year, over a year. You can make money for free with us. I'm going to get this a little bit more organized, and hopefully Instagram can get fixed and we could do that in a better way, shape, or form so I can hear your comments. But outside of that, appreciate y'all. Alphapack members, love y'all. See y'all first thing in the morning. Peace.